should have started, but we didn't. So, hi, this is Coach World TV. I'm Laurie Lawson, and tonight my guest is, finally, I've been trying to get her on for 2 to 3 years, I know, Lisa Michelle Kucharz. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. I really appreciate being here. I'm very happy to be here. And I'm sorry that I did have you to wait for quite some time.
Yeah, hey.
But it's my
right.
pleasure to be with you here.
We love you anyway.
Thank you.
Lisa Michelle is a career, business, and work-life balance. Did I do that right?
You did.
Career coach. one extra career. And in talking to her, I realized that she kind of uses her own life as inspiration, and I love that because here's what I need. I assume everybody else needs this. She's got all kinds of cool programs going. I have to tell you, I first met her, and we didn't even talk about this, with the United States Empowerment Society, or the Empowerment Society of the United States,
Yes,
or something.
yes.
We were both volunteering to do some coaching for military females that were being deployed back into the United States. And we went up to West Point on a wild trip.
That's when we met, on our trip to West Point.
And that's been so long ago. I think it's been longer than 3 years.
Actually, I was going to say, I think it's
now
more like
thinking
4
about
or
it,
more.
I think I had to ask her forever. But anyway, she's here now, so we're going to take advantage of that. Tell us, first of all, she's got great programs. One is called Ace the Race. One is called I Love Mondays. One is called The 40s Factor. It used to be Countdown to 40. I mean, titles she's really good at. And the programs, she can back it up also. But tell us, what made you decide to get into coaching the first time?
Well, at first, people approached me, people who I had met through my profession or through acquaintances, and would recommend to me that I should be a coach. And I couldn't understand why other people...
Did you know what a coach was?
I didn't. I didn't know what a coach was. And when I found out what a coach was, I couldn't understand why people thought I should coach other people. Right? I didn't think that I had the years of life experience or career experience yet. We're talking more than 15 years ago. And people would try to explain to me that it's technique, it's certain natural abilities, certain things could be learned, but perhaps other things are just natural to someone. If you're a natural motivator, if you can help people focus, if you can help people work through their clutter without putting your own thoughts on them, that those were all good qualities to become a coach.
And somehow they thought, in dealing with you, they thought that you had those qualifications.
Yes. You know, when I was working in HR and marketing and bringing those skills together, that's when I would get most of those comments. It was very interesting, and I put it on the back burner like many people do in life. So as you're saying, you know, you use your own life as inspiration. And about 6 years ago, when I was thinking about, you know, my future, what do I love to do? How do I love Mondays? How can I help other people have a good career journey, find that work-life balance? I turned to coaching.
Well, we are thrilled that you did, because she's got really great things going on. What program came first for you?
Do you mean like Ace the Race?
Or Countdown to 40, which was the first one?
So Ace the Race was my first venture, my first official company. And I really wanted to help people who are highly motivated, and we talked a little bit about that, and I can get into that. Ace the race, and by the race I mean their race, because that race is different for every person. So for some person it's a career path and how to get from point A to B and do it successfully and possibly happily. For other people, it's starting a business. For other people, it's finding a part-time position so that they can have a certain type of work-life balance. So when one aces the race, it's to be an ace in your own personal race, but mostly focusing on career and business.
Now, is that making the assumption that we're all in a race, and so
it is,
and personalizing the race? That's it.
It is, and I guess that's where part of my life journey comes in it as well. I do feel that when it comes to career and business, we are all in some type of race, especially perhaps in a New York environment. No matter what you're going through, you're competing with others, you're competing with yourself, you're competing with your own interests, and you want to go as far as you can go, or today as you want to go.
Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm thinking as we're talking about the title that one might say, oh my God, I don't want to be in a race. I want to, go to the mountains and meditate. But in a career, I think it's almost essential that you are moving in some direction. It may not be a monetary direction. It could be a fulfillment direction. It could be an educational. But because I'm going, ace the race. What if people don't want to race? But I got what you're saying now.
Right. Yeah. So the race is unique as the individual. So if the person wants to go to the mountains and meditate, and that's a priority for the person, then that becomes part of the person's race.
Perfect.
So how do they ace that and still support themselves and perhaps others and make it all work?
And that's what you've taken on to do, huh?
Yes.
All right. So what do you tell people now that would make them get a whole new perspective on what they're doing? I mean, what are some of the advice? We don't give advice. What are some of the action steps that they should be taking?
So first, usually I start off in finding out why perhaps somebody wants to make a change, and if they actually know they want to make a change.
I'm sorry. You know what? I want you to tell me what highly motivated people are, because you just made me remember that made me remember what she had said. And she did say she only wants to work with highly motivated people. So what does that mean?
So I only want to work with highly motivated people because I only work well with highly motivated people. So it's something that I know about myself, and I want to do justice for my clients. So
what is a highly motivated
Exactly.
person?
Thank you. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
A highly motivated person is someone who is going to work at whatever it is that they want to go through, make an active effort, be ambitious about it, make a plan, stick to the plan, adjust the plan, but really be active in their change.
Okay.
They aren't looking for someone just to talk to but not make any changes.
It's not a venting
It's not,
thing.
yeah. You know what?
Venting's good. But
Venting's good. It has its place. But I work with people who really want to move. Now, we've talked about it. Is that move forward? Is that move lateral? Is that downgrade to happiness? But the person needs to want to make a change.
I know I'm going to make her explain that. But first I want to ask a question. Does that exclude someone who calls you up and goes, you know what, I'm miserable, but I know I need to make a change, but I don't have a clue? Do they need to have a clue, or do you help them get a clue?
They don't need to have a clue to be highly motivated. So it doesn't exclude the person. But I do let people know up front what's involved in working with me. So it's not just, attending a phone call or a face-to-face meeting and not doing anything else. So and I do get calls from people who say, hi, Lisa, I'm miserable. And they're usually miserable in their jobs, in their careers, or in business. And I do work with people to help them figure out either why they're miserable, or if there are certain pinpointed areas that they're miserable, that perhaps they can make a small change without having to make a monumental change, and release some of that misery and step into more happiness.
And if they don't really know which direction they should take, that's why you're there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay,
absolutely.
So don't discount her services because she said you have to be highly motivated. You can be highly motivated but not have a clue where you're going. It's all right.
A lot of people fall into that. They go through stages in life, and they get to a point where they're recognizing that they're unhappy or perhaps miserable, if it goes to that extent.
Somewhere within
and
that.
Their minds are so filled with what we call clutter. They are probably not referring to it as clutter because they don't recognize it, but they can't pinpoint what changed, whether it's about a place of work or about themselves, that now has led them to be unhappy.
We're going to talk about all the changes that have come about. But you did mention something about downgrade to happiness. Why would happiness be a downgrade? Explain that.
Right. So if we're not downgrading the happiness part, Because
Okay.
the happiness is really an elevated aspect of our lives, and people, I believe, should seek happiness. But perhaps some people can downgrade certain aspects of their career and business that they didn't think that they were going to do in the past. So they thought that for their career to be successful, they had to make a continual progression upward or at least laterally, but that they reach a point where they understand that that continual progression isn't what's going to help them be happy, whether they're not happy now or they won't be happy at the next step. And there are trade-offs and there are decisions. And we all have the opportunity to make those choices.
Okay.
So one can change an aspect of one's career and downgrade the career to a better, happier life.
So you're saying rather than be on the career ladder, they might
Yes.
say, you know what, I'm at level 6 and I'm
Yep.
going to stay there because I like it here.
Absolutely.
And I'm tired of climbing the ladder.
Right. And I may take a step down the ladder, whether that's continual step down.
I was really happy at level 5.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And now I'm just miserable at level 6 or level 7.
I don't want to go on to
I
7.
like the additional money or I like the prestige, but I don't really need it because I'm just not happy. I don't like the additional stress. I'm not happy.
So in a sense, what you do is help people get their priorities straight. And
Absolutely.
it's funny because I have friends who are 100% money motivated.
Right.
Now that is not a motivator for me,
Right.
and that's okay. I think, and then they're always going, "How
Right.
can you not care?"
Right.
And it's not that I don't care;
Right.
it's just
Right.
not my top priority.
Right.
So maybe helping them prioritize what is
Exactly.
important. Now, how frivolous is it in today's economy to worry about happy? Who cares if you're happy? You're employed. Shut up and don't mess it up, right?
Right. So that's a very good question.
Yes.
You know what? Some people would call it frivolous. Say, you know what? Happy doesn't come in my budget right now. So let's not talk
I
about
don't
happiness.
have a happy budget. Yeah.
Right. I need to make X amount of dollars, and I will do whatever it takes to make that. We'll talk about happy when the economy approves. And I accept that that is some people's approach. But at the same time, I do challenge people to take a look at that. How much money do you need? How much money do you want? Do you want that continual progression in salary? Some people do. Some people will not be happy without that. That's their happiness ticket.
Exactly.
But if you're content with your salary, or you could possibly be content at one level less of your salary, and that could buy you, because it buys you leaving the office earlier, or an evening that you can go watch your child's baseball game, or a night out with the ladies, it's a trade-off. So
And it could be a sacrifice. I mean, you could say,
Absolutely.
okay, 3 days a week I'm going to bring my lunch instead of
Absolutely.
eating out and spending $20.
that's exactly what I
right?
find people are doing.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good,
So I won't
good.
go for the ladies. I won't go get a manicure, pedicure every week. I'll do it every other week. It's just another example like the lunch.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I do find that more people are bringing lunch in the city,
Yeah.
right? So that's a trade-off.
Okay.
But you know, one doesn't have to feel like it's either happiness or a salary, because as we've discussed before, you don't get what you don't ask for. And I've learned
That's a hard lesson that I keep trying to learn.
it's tough, you know, and it's easy for me to talk about it. I witnessed it firsthand, but for other people for years, and only in recent years have I felt comfortable to push myself to make the requests as well. But you
Do you
don't
mind
ask.
telling us, like, just give us, and you could just, if this could or could not be her own personal.
Absolutely.
But what are some things that you could ask for that you know, that might make you happy without getting a higher salary?
Right. So something that someone could ask for is flex time. And flex time could be working the same hours but working from home, like telecommuting. It could be if an office was generally open from, we'll call it 9 to 5, although who knows that office
I think
anymore.
those are dead hours.
And,
yeah.
and people, you know, are used to that office operating 8:30 to 5:30 to 6, you know, saying, you know what, I'm not looking to work less hours, but can I work 7 to 3 one day a week? Right? Everyone knows if you're a good employee, you're going to make sure your work is done.
I know some companies that allow you to work 10 hours a day and then you get Friday
Absolutely,
off. And
right.
then it's like, okay.
And some companies don't have official policies like that, but if someone requests it, they say, sure. You know what, we didn't think of it, but you know, you're a good employee. We know your work is done, right? Because that's always going to be the prerequisite.
Absolutely. I mean,
You
if
have
you come
to make
in
sure
late every day.
exactly you're not getting anything.
And
right.
if you got off, you use all your
Right.
sick leave. Don't
Absolutely.
ask.
Exactly.
You've already got your bonus.
Right. Then you didn't earn the
Right.
request. But at the same time, if you're looking for a new position, that's a great opportunity to make requests. Right? So you want to work till 4 o'clock once a week during Little League season because you want to make, you know, your son or daughter's baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about it on the interview. I find that more and more today, people are getting what they ask for, as long as you don't ask for something outlandish or ridiculous.
Why do you think in today's market, where we know there are thousands of applications for one job, why do you think employers are being accommodating? I mean, they really could just be tyrants and go, oh no, these are the rules, and
you know, I'm sure that there's a whole spectrum of employers and how they behave. I think that many employers are being accommodating today because they know that a happy, satisfied employee is a better employee, is a more dedicated employee, will do a better job, will stay longer in the position and at that job, and that's worth a lot to an employer.
well, you have to, yes, and you would think, okay, who cares if employees are a dime a dozen, but you have to remember the process of getting the right employee, because we've both been in personnel and human resources, like, oh no, not another interview, not another orientation.
Position to fill and the orientation and the training.
And the recruitment, and it goes on and on.
Absolutely.
So I think employers are realizing that that's a waste of their time too. If
waste
they
of time
where they could
and money.
actually,
They can count the dollars today.
Absolutely, and they do.
Right.
They
Yes, they do.
constantly
They do.
Yes.
So if you have a proven track record at a previous place of employment, and this prospective place of employment is interested in you, don't be ridiculous, because if you are ridiculous, then that will close a door. But ask for something reasonable. You may get it.
And I find that a notion that I almost want to test out, but I'm happy doing what I'm doing, so I'm not going to. But I'd love to see, and it's something that I have to remember too, because I'll just in my head, oh no, that's not possible, and I'll forget about it. And it's like, how do I know until I ask? So it's a good. We all need to do mantras to remind ourselves that, you know what, if you don't ask, you don't get. So
Absolutely.
I love that. Now let's talk about the totally insane program of I Love Mondays. What is that all about?
Okay, so I believe. Go ahead, laugh all you want. I believe that people can love Mondays. Or at least not hate them as much as we've talked about.
All right.
And I developed a program that can be done one-on-one or in a group. In a group, it's about a 6-part series. It usually takes about 2 months. And one-on-one, it varies, all on the individual, where we get to the heart of what is the best place, that ideal career and position for a person, so that not only Monday morning, but Sunday evening and afternoon,
you're all excited.
They're looking forward to going to work, or at least not dreading it. And the program isn't just, well, what job do you have now? What job do you want? Because that would be too easy.
Right.
If that was the case, people would be doing it.
Right.
But it's really helping people get in touch with, what is it about work do they like and do they love? And I go on a complete journey with a person from, what did you like the best about the place of employment you liked the least? That says a lot. If you can figure out, what did you actually like at that one job that you didn't like to have in your life, that really helps you get in touch with, what did you not like at all about a place of employment that you loved?
Oh, okay.
Right? So this just helps you get your wheels turning. Would you work outdoors? Do you like working in an office? Would you travel? all these questions, we talked before about, are you willing or can you work on a commission-based salary?
Right.
There's about 100 questions to get someone to start to think before they start doing what I call an inventory of you. You know, what are your strengths? If you could possess a new talent, what would it be? What talents do you have that you're not utilizing right now? And then helping someone bring it all together.
Now, is this to create job satisfaction where they currently are, or to define the perfect job?
Okay, so usually people start off thinking that they need to leave where they are.
Always, yeah.
Right? They do, right?
I gotta
exactly.
go.
They start off thinking, I'm here and I'm not happy. I don't know why I'm not happy. I need to leave this place because happiness is elsewhere. Right? If it's that the grass is always greener or something else, I don't know.
It's over there.
Right, exactly. But often I find that during the process, people realize they can really conceptualize what is it about this place or something surrounding working at this place that's not sitting well with them. And then we go through the process of saying, well, can you ignore this? Can you accept this? Can you make a change for that one thing and stay at your place and then be happy? And often people can do that.
They just haven't, they just assume it's not going to be there.
I often find in our society that, you know, we live in a world of people who like to complain. Right? So
Whiners.
Whiners, exactly. And I don't want to peg people, but you know, if someone's surrounded by complainers and they all talk about being miserable in their job, is it now like, you know, an infection? It's contagious.
It's employment culture, you know, it's just the culture of the business.
You know, we help people. Is that what's going on? Are you really unhappy? And can you be the one who comes to work with a smile on your face on Monday morning?
You'll be the only one, but it's okay.
And then maybe that smile can spread.
It'll be contagious. But I think it's also, and I like that you say we do live in that kind of culture, because also I think we have a tendency to think, well, it can't be my responsibility, so it's the next job, and that will make me happy.
That's
Whereas,
true.
at least, and even if you do say, I hate this, and the person tries to change it, and it doesn't work, at least they've tried.
Right.
So then you know you've exhausted the possibilities, and you can move on to what you might think. But if you haven't tried, you're going to...
People
What's that saying? Wherever you go, there you are. It's
exactly.
Like wherever you
People
go, there
are very hesitant to make an effort to change where they're at, and I think that's both in their professional and personal lives.
Yeah, I think
it's easier to walk up and away and leave than to try to make a change.
Witness the divorce rate in America, which is insane.
Yeah,
it's like
it's
you
like
know
50% or something.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
over I think now, which is sad.
Wow.
Yeah. So so great, good for you. So the premise behind I hate Monday, I love Mondays. Sorry, I'm
That's
so used
okay.
to the culture. I love Mondays. Is that let's find out, let's make you love Mondays,
Right.
or at least not hate them as much as you used to.
You know what? And for some people, it's the realization that no matter where I'm going to be, I'm going to complain about my job.
Yes. Some people are,
not everyone, but that's
comfortable for them.
And that sometimes, once they realize that helps them, because now they can stop expecting to love their job.
Yeah, it'll be just okay. This is normal, and I can live in normal. Well, tell us about what started out to be Countdown to 40. I just love her titles. Countdown to 40, and now is the 40 Factor. What was that? Because I know she's a fantastic writer, and I know she has this really cool blog going on, so I want you to all know about that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So you can know where to tune in.
So I noticed when I was 38 and 39, a lot of my friends and family who turned 40 before me went through all sorts of things. And some of the things weren't so positive. You know, I don't think we call them exactly midlife crises anymore. Some of them could have been defined that way. And I found that I wasn't going through that, which I was very grateful for, but that I was definitely going through something, because I was about to approach this new number, 40. It has this like prestige and this monumental impact for us. And I decided that I was going to launch a blog called Countdown to 40 because I had no idea what I was going to go through. Was I going to have a midlife crisis? Was I going to be okay?
Am I late for the midlife crisis? What's going
Yeah,
on?
exactly. So I named it Countdown to 40, and for the 6 months leading up to my 40th birthday, I blogged on everything and anything that I was going through in life. And I think you may know this, I really thought that I was going to end it there. It was going to be Countdown to 40. I was going to turn 40. I was going to do my philanthropy project, have a few parties, and I'd be done. And I got a lot of encouragement from people, some who I knew and some who I had never met, who thought it was really important to keep the conversation going, to talk about things that people in our age group were going through, and grow together. And that's when the 40 Factor was born.
So we're carrying it on.
We are.
And maybe we'll have something for 50. Who knows?
You know, when I was finishing up Countdown to 40, several people suggested that I start Countdown to 50.
Oh my gosh, not
and
10
I said,
years.
I'm
That's
not
too much.
ready for that yet, but
no,
thank you.
enjoy the 40s right now.
Exactly.
Well, tell them, because you've got so much going on, tell them where they can find you, because you've got a couple of websites, I think, but where's the best place to find you?
The best place to find me is at acetherace.com. All of the other information is there as well.
Okay.
And it really is just as it's spelled, with no hyphens or anything, acetherace.com. All my Twitter names are there, and my Facebook pages. You know, I'm really enjoying the social media and sharing with people
that's
that
how
way.
I kept up with her for the 4 years when I'm going, are you ready to come on now? And then finally she goes, I think I am. So what if they go to your website, what are they going to find that might be helpful to them? Like,
That's a great question, because it's not all about me.
really? Yeah.
Don't tell me that.
No.
So one of the things that you can find on acetherace.com are articles about updating your resume, networking, different approaches to networking, loving Mondays,
40 Factor.
40 Factor, turning a job search into a job hunt. Which is something that I try to promote, not to be passive in a job search, but to actually hunt down the job that you want.
Highly motivated, yes.
Highly motivated, and information like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I would say it's acetherace.com, and you can also, well, she'll give you all the connections there. And in the last few seconds, do you believe we only have seconds left? I just want to really say that Lisa is one inspirational, because all of the stuff she's talking about, she's already been through it, and she's going through it, and what she's doing is sharing her knowledge. So I am so thrilled that you finally got on Coach World TV and shared it with everybody out there. So thank you for being
Thank you very
my
much.
guest, and maybe the next time we won't have to wait 4 or 5 years.
Definitely not. I really appreciate it. Thank you.